All right, hi, this is Miss Triangle. This is wrapping out chapter 11, last section, home stretch 11.8, surface area and volume of spheres. So now we're focusing on spheres. Our EQ, how do you find the surface area, I'm abbreviating, and the volume of a sphere? Learning target, basically the same thing. I can find the volume and surface area of a sphere. So what is a sphere? Again, you can use my shell of notes as a template. You can use the cutouts. You can summarize and write in your own words, which I think is the best for learning, but those are your choices. You don't need everything here word for word. But a sphere, basically a set of all points in space equal distance from a given point called the center. So just like a circle has a radius, a sphere has a radius. A chord of a sphere is a segment whose endpoints are on the sphere. So that blue line here is kind of a chord. And a special type of chord that goes through the center is called the diameter. So if it was me, I'd probably just draw these pictures, and that's probably enough, but you do what works for you. All right, so here again, you do not need all of this to be written down. I really would not do that. Let's see what we need to know here. If a plane intersects a sphere, then the intersection is either on a single point or a circle. If the plane contains the center of the circle, it's called a great circle. So a great circle is basically a cross section that goes through the center. And the circumference of a great circle is the circumference of the sphere. All right, and then so a great circle is a cross section that goes through the center. And then the other thing they're telling you is a hemisphere is half of a sphere. That's kind of the important information. Great circle, we'll talk more about on the next slide as well. All right. Okay, so again, this one's a little bit sad. Usually for this section, I have kind of a fun investigation lab where people get an orange and they peel an orange and break the peel up and kind of discover some of these formulas. We're obviously not going to be able to do that. So I'm just going to give you the formulas. So here is a surface area of a sphere. And I think these cutouts are on there if you want that and they look nicer. Surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. So it's 4 of those great circles. That was the whole point. The whole point of defining what a great circle was. And that was kind of what the orange peel investigation. Is that you peel it and you discover the peel takes up the area of 4 great circles. Anyway, all right, that's the formula. You'll just take my word for it. Volume of a sphere, is 4/3, and there's another investigation, but we're not going to do that. 4/3, about where that comes from, pi r cubed to the third power. So please make sure that r is to the third power and not squared. When you use the formula and when you're writing it down, those are common mistakes that I see. All right, let's try a couple examples. First example, find the surface area of each sphere. All right, so let's look at A. You have a sphere here with a radius of 8 inches. So for surface area, we're doing 4 pi r squareds. The radius of that is 8, so it's 4 times pi times 8 squared. I'm going to leave this one in terms of pi. So 8 squared is 64. 64 times 4, I get 256. 256 pi inches squared. Surface area should be in square inches. You also could multiply 256 times pi. That's fine. You can do that. It's just an extra step, so I'm not going to do that, but you can. All right, part B. They're telling us their circumference, and our goal is to find surface area. So remember, circumference is pi times diameter. All right, that's your circumference formula. So 12 pi circumference equals pi times diameter. I can solve here for diameter pretty easily. I can divide out a pi. Divide. So 12 is my diameter. For my surface area formula, I want radius. I want r, not d. So remember, radius is half. My radius is 6. So I'm just going to put that into my surface area formula, 4 pi r squared. So 4 pi times 6 squared. Again, I'm going to keep this in terms of pi. 6 squared is 36. 36 times 4 is 144 pi feet cubed. If you want to multiply it out instead of keeping it in terms of pi, you have that option. All right, example 2. Find the diameter of the sphere. They're giving you surface area. S is surface area, is 22.25 pi. So we are going to kind of work backwards. So remember, surface area, my formula is 4 pi r squared. I'm going to put in my answer. Surface area is 20.25 pi. They gave that to me. Equals 4 pi r squared, and we're going to solve. So first things, let's get rid of those pi's. All right. So then I have 20.25 equals 4r squared. Next, let's divide out a 4. So 20.25 divided by 4 is 5.06. Then remember to undo a square, undo the second power. The opposite of that is taking the square root. So 2.25 is my radius. The question is asking for diameter, so I need to double that. 2.25 times 2. And diameter is going to be 4.5 centimeters. All right, so I worked backwards. I used my surface area 4 pi r squared formula. I put in 20.25. I divided out a pi. I divided 4. I took the square root. That gave me my radius, 2.25. The question asked for diameter. I doubled my radius, 2.25 times 2, and I got 4.5. All right, this one's for Mr. Dow, the soccer fan. Find the volume of a soccer ball. So just make sure it's very easy to get all these formulas confused. Volume, we are using 4/3 pi r cubed. Volume is cubed. So we're just kind of plugging and chugging with our formula here. 1/3 pi, my r, my radius is 4.5 inches cubed. So you can do that whole thing in your calculator. If you leave it in terms of pi, you get 121.5 pi cubic inches. If you multiply that out, you get 381.7 cubic inches. And Gemma would like to say hi too. Hi, sweets. All right, example 4. All right, this is kind of a fun problem. The surface area of a sphere is 324 pi square centimeters. Find the volume. We get to use both formulas. So fun. All right, so surface area is 324 pi. That formula is 4 pi r squared. So let's put in 324 pi for that. 324 pi equals 4 pi r squared. So first, let's get rid of a pi. Divide by pi, divide by pi. Those both cancel. Next, let's divide out the 4. 324 divided by 4 is 81. To get r, my radius, I take the square root. My radius is 9. What a beautiful number. All right, next, my big goal is to find the volume of a sphere. So volume formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. So we just plug in 9. 4/3 pi times 9 to the third power. You can put that whole thing in your calculator. I am getting either 972 pi centimeters cubed if you leave it in terms of pi, or 3053.63 centimeters cubed if you take the time to multiply it out.